If your income stopped tomorrow, what would really happen to your life? Not in theory, not eventually, tomorrow. Most people avoid that question because the answer is terrifying. Rent doesn't wait, bills don't pause, freedom disappears instantly. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. The wealthy don't live with that fear. Not because they're braver, not because they're smarter, but because their lives don't depend on income the way yours probably does. They don't just earn money, they control how money flows. And once you understand the difference between earning money and controlling cash flow, something uncomfortable becomes clear. Some people are paid only if they keep working. Others are paid because systems keep running. This isn't a secret trick, it's a structural advantage. And once you see it, you'll understand why some people keep winning even when everything looks like it's falling apart. What most people get wrong. Most people believe wealth comes from earning more, a higher salary, a better job, another certification, another promotion. And for a while, that strategy works. Until it doesn't. Because income is fragile. It depends on your time, your health, and someone else's approval. Miss a paycheck and everything starts to wobble. Cash flow is different. Cash flow doesn't ask if you showed up today. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't stop because the economy slows down. The wealthy don't obsess over how much they earn per hour. They obsess over how money moves after it enters their hands. Because income is a transaction. Cash flow is a system. And systems don't get tired. The cash flow loop. Here's how the system really works. Money comes in, but it doesn't stop there. Instead of being consumed, it's redirected. Instead of being spent, it's positioned. The money is placed into assets, businesses, investments, or structures designed to generate more cash. That new cash doesn't end the process, it feeds it. Money creates more money. That money is reinvested. The loop repeats. Over time, effort becomes less important than structure. The loop doesn't care how motivated you are. It only cares that it exists. This is why wealthy people think in cycles, not paychecks. Once the loop is built, growth becomes automatic. Not instant, but inevitable. Moment of tension. This is why economic crises don't hit everyone the same way. When income disappears, workers panic. When income disappears, systems pause. But assets reposition. If your life depends on a paycheck, every disruption feels like a threat. If your life depends on cash flow, disruptions create openings. This is why downturns feel unfair. One group struggles to survive. Another quietly accumulates. Not because they predicted the crisis, but because their financial lives weren't built on income alone. That's the uncomfortable truth. The difference isn't intelligence, it's design. And design always wins over effort in the long run. So if cash flow is so powerful, why doesn't everyone build it? Because most people were never trained to think in systems, only in survival. From an early age, we're taught a simple loop. Earn money, spend money, repeat. Pay bills, buy things, keep moving. Very few people are taught to pause and ask what happens to money after it's earned. Instead of learning how to capture cash, redirect it, and reuse it, we're encouraged to consume as efficiently as possible. New money enters our lives and almost immediately exits. Rent, subscriptions, debt payments, lifestyle upgrades. And the more income increases, the faster consumption follows. This isn't accidental. A consumer-based system needs people focused on spending, not structuring.
Building a cash flow system requires delayed gratification, long-term thinking, and the willingness to look boring while others look successful. It means saying no to short-term comfort in exchange for long-term leverage. Most people never build it because it feels slow at first, and slow doesn't feel rewarding. But the truth is simple. Cash flow systems don't start powerful, they become powerful. And by the time most people realize that, they're already locked into lifestyles that demand constant income just to survive. Income versus cash flow. Income feels safe because it's familiar. You work, you get paid. Clear effort, clear reward. But income has a hidden weakness. It stops. It stops when you're sick. It stops when the market changes. It stops when someone else decides it should. Cash flow doesn't behave that way. Cash flow is money that continues moving because it's attached to systems, assets, or ownership, not hours worked. Income is linear. Cash flow is compounding. Income solves short-term problems. Cash flow solves long-term vulnerability. This is why wealthy individuals obsess over ownership instead of salary. They don't just ask how much something pays, they ask how long it pays and under what conditions it keeps working. Inflation quietly punishes income earners, but it often benefits those with cash flow because rising prices increase the value of assets and revenue streams. This is why two people can earn similar incomes and end up in completely different financial realities. One relies on effort, the other relies on structure, and over time, structure always wins. Reflection. Now, stop for a moment. Not to judge yourself, but to observe honestly. If you stopped working tomorrow, what would happen next? Would money still move toward you, or would everything immediately begin draining away? This question isn't meant to shame you, it's meant to clarify where you actually stand. Look at your current setup. Do you own assets that generate cash, or do you only receive money after giving your time? Do your expenses depend on future effort, or are they supported by systems already in place? This single distinction explains why some people feel constant pressure, while others feel optionality, even with similar incomes. The moment you shift from asking, "How much do I earn?" to "How does money flow?" you stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a designer. And that mindset shift is often the real turning point. Conclusion. The cash flow system isn't hidden because it's forbidden. It's hidden because it changes priorities. Once you understand it, chasing income alone stops making sense. You realize that working harder inside a broken structure doesn't create freedom, it only increases dependence. The real goal isn't to quit working, it's to stop being trapped by work. Cash flow systems don't make people lazy, they make people intentional. They allow choices, they create resilience, they reduce fear. That's why the wealthy don't panic the same way others do during uncertainty. They don't rely on a single source, they rely on flow. And once you see that clearly, the question isn't whether the system exists, the question is whether you'll keep ignoring it or start building one of your own. If this changed how you see money, watch the Hidden Money Systems Explained playlist. Because wealth isn't about earning more, it's about building systems that keep working long after effort ends. And once you understand that, you finally stop running and start directing the flow.